Hello, and welcome to our presentation on esports sponsorships and advertisements. In this video, we'll explore how sponsorships drive the esports industry and discuss how current challenges and future trends are affected by esports sponsorships. In this slide, we'll cover what an esports sponsor is. So basically, it's just when a company partners with an esports team, a tournament, or a streamer to promote their brand in exchange for money. And it's very important to this industry because it's the main revenue driver in esports. And in 2022, sponsorships made up 55% of global esports revenue. Now we're going to talk about some of the top sponsors in esports. There are some huge global brands such as Red Bull and Intel, which are directly tied to gaming and sports. They sponsor events and teams worldwide. And then at the same time, brands such as Nike and BMW, which aren't directly related to gaming, still have recognized the value of esports, global audience, and these top sponsors show how mainstream the esports industry has become. Let's move on to the growth of the esports sponsorships. The esports market has seen nonstop growth over the past decade, and this trend is expected to continue. Global esports revenue is projected to reach nearly $6 billion in 2029, reflecting a 25% increase from 2025. This growth is driven by more non-gaming brands entering the scene, combined with rising viewership through platforms such as Twitch and YouTube gaming, but sponsors still remain the biggest driver behind this expanding market. Despite the importance of esports sponsorships, they can still come with many challenges, such as oversaturation of sponsors can lead to reduced fan engagement because too many ads may harm the authenticity of esports culture. Some sponsors, like energy drink companies, also may face criticism for targeting younger audiences. Short-term deals create unstable revenue, and with esports marketing still being a new space, brands still face uncertainty. And then measuring the return on investments is also much more difficult compared to traditional sports. Next, we'll talk about endemic versus non-endemic sponsors. Endemic sponsors are sponsors that are related to the esports field, such as Logitech, Intel, HyperX, Turtle Beach. These are very important because they're well known by the esports community and can provide equipment for the players and teams. And then non-endemic are sponsors not related to the esports field, such as Red Bull, BMW, and Nike. They're still important because they bring new revenue streams and connect mainstream audiences with esports.
So I'm going to be talking about the streaming platforms and their roles in sponsorships. So like we mentioned before, Twitch, YouTube, and even Facebook provide opportunities for fans to watch these live events. So some of the deals that these companies have are exclusive streaming rights, branded content, and even integrated advertising. So as you can see from the picture on the right here, it's not uncommon for Twitch to team up with Fortnite at these esports events. And so by doing this, they're able to have integrated advertising right on the screen with the Twitch rivals. And so this pretty much just allows both partners to expand their viewership and outreach to both of their audiences and kind of combine them together. So next is the impact of sponsorships on teams and players. So first with the teams, sponsorships help to pay for their operational costs or pretty much just their overhead. And it also offers exposure and it elevates status. So on the side here, I included the G2 jersey, and the G2 team is sponsored by Red Bull, BMW, Adidas, and Logitech. And so by putting these sponsorships on their jersey, it allows people to draw the conclusion to hold them at a higher standard. And so for the players, the sponsorships just pay for their salaries mostly, but it also increases their status and increases their exposure to either more fans or even sponsors. So just to kind of wrap everything up that we talked about so far, we talked about the top sponsors in esports, and that is Red Bull, Nike, Intel, and BMW. And then next we talked about the sponsorship growth and how it's projected to grow by 25% or more. And then the challenges with esports sponsorships, like the oversaturation in the market and just an overall uncertainty regarding sponsorships in esports. And then the different types of sponsors, like endemic or non-endemic. And then the streaming platforms and their roles in sponsorships. And then finally, the team and player sponsorships and how they use the money that they get from sponsorships to pay for their overhead or to pay their players' salary.